Hello, fellow traders. Nutty Bar Trading coming to you. And in this video, we are going to talk about Trade Day. I've been using Trade Day for the past 2.5 weeks, basically just trying them out. And I knew about Trade Day. I looked into them, and I was just never that impressed with Trade Day primarily because of their profit to loss ratios that they used to have. I always felt like those profit to loss rate ratios, I really just couldn't really get over those. They were pretty bad. They were definitely the worst in the industry. But in the past, I think a month ago, Trade Day made some changes, and now their profit to loss ratios for their evaluation accounts are actually one of the best in the industry now. And so since they made those changes, I gave them a try. I'm trying them out right now. I'm using them, and I like them for the most part. Now, in this video, I want to go over the pros and the cons to what I see and hopefully make you aware of them, and then you can make a decision on if this prop firm is suited for you or not. It is my opinion with a lot of these prop firms. There's a lot of different prop firms out there, and everyone has their pros and cons. There's no perfect prop firm, and it depends on what you're looking for. This might be a good option for you, or it might not. So I just want to make you guys aware what I like, what I don't like, and then you guys can make your own decision. So without further ado, let's just dive right in. Okay, pros, my honest review, pros versus cons. I don't know if this is going to be the intro or not. I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible. I do have a tendency to ramble sometimes, and all of my videos are one take videos, so I've tried to keep it on point. I'll try my best. All right, we're going to start with the pros. We're just going to talk about the pros. I'm going to go through each bullet point and just briefly talk about why I personally feel like this is a good thing, and obviously make your own decision and, use your own discretion. So the first thing with pros, and this is probably the biggest thing that Trade Day has, and they have a no withdrawal restriction. I think they're like the only prop firm that I know of, a reputable prop firm, where they have no restrictions. And when I say no restrictions, that's exactly what it means. Zero. You don't have to trade so many days. You don't have to trade and have a certain dollar amount in profit. There's no profit threshold. Once you have an evaluation account and you pass it, and that first day you make $1,000 in profit, you can withdraw it. There are no restrictions. So that is probably one of the best features with Trade Day. Excuse me. And then the next one is no activation fee. So this is where Trade Day kind of did things a little bit differently than what their competition is currently doing. Most prop firms have an activation fee, and usually it's anywhere in the range of $100 to $150 and even higher, depend on the bigger accounts. And that is basically your activation fee for once you pass your evaluation account, then you usually have to pay an activation fee to activate your funded account. But excuse me. Trade Day has no activation fee, which is, that's kind of unique. Now, I will get into the cons of it because there are some things that go with that no activation fee, but that is definitely a pro, and that is a good thing. So, and then also going to the next bullet point, no monthly fees either. So basically, once you pass your evaluation account and you have your funded sim account, there's no monthly fees on the funded sim account. I want to make that clear. So Obviously, once you pass your valuation account, you have a choice to go to a funded sim account, which means you'll stay on a simulation, but you'll get paid out in profits, same as you would on a live account. Or if it is really important to you, you can go to a live account. But if you go to a live account, there will be monthly fees, and we'll cover that a little bit later. Next thing that's a pro is end of day trailing drawdown. So no, they don't have the intraday trailing drawdown, which is a good thing, or I think most people would agree. They have an end of day trailing drawdown. But what really makes this really good, in my opinion, most prop firms, if they have an end of day trailing drawdown, usually that comes with a daily loss limit. And TRADEDAY doesn't have that. They have an end of day trailing drawdown, but they also don't have a daily loss limit, which is really good. And the end of day trailing drawdown stops once you hit your initial account balance. So that is pretty good. That's really good. The next pro, no consistency rule on funded accounts. So once you have a funded account, no consistency rule. Like you'll see on a lot of prop firms, funded accounts, they'll have like a 30 or a 40% consistency rule. So that's a good thing. Clear path to a live account. That to me, as you know, with the MFF lawsuit, and I think, you know, in the next year or two, we might see some regulations in this industry. And me personally, I think it's going to be important that these prop firms have a clear path to a live account. Just my opinion. And that is one thing that TRADEDAY does offer, is they have a clear path to a live account. Excuse me, I have this just very itchy throat right now. Then we also, the other pro is they offer Tradeovate, NinjaTrader. Basically, they offer all the major platforms to trade on. I know Tradeovate is really popular. NinjaTrader is really popular. They have a lot of other as well, but no restrictions really that I see on platforms. And then we have the next bullet point is really good profit and loss ratios. So they do have really good profit to loss ratios. And let me just show real quick here. So this is their profit and loss ratios. Again, for example, the 25K account is $1,500 profit target, $1,500 end of day drawdown, no daily loss limit, which that's pretty standard. And then we have the 50K account, which has a $2,500 profit target and a $2,000 end of day drawdown, no daily loss limit. And so this is a little bit different. Normally on most prop firms, the 50K account is a $2,500 drawdown with a $3,000 profit target. So the ratio is very similar on the 50K account, but the numbers are different. Then if you go to the 100K, it's 3,000 for your drawdown and only 5,000 for your profit target. So here is where it is a better profit ratio than you would see normally with prop firms. Normally with prop firms, you have a profit target of 6,000 and a drawdown of 3,000 on the 100K account. Not all of them maybe, but that is kind of the standard. So here, this is better. And then the 150K account, normally you would have a $5,000 drawdown and a $9,000 profit target on 150K accounts. So again, the profit ratio is better. So that is a good thing. All right, moving on. And we obviously the other thing, good thing, this is pretty standard in the industry. You keep the first $10,000, and after that, it's a 90-10 split where you keep 90% of the profits, they keep 10% of it. And last but not least, they have great customer support, which is really important. Something that I've kind of overlooked in the past, but is definitely not something to disregard. All right, let us focus on the cons, or things that I, don't like as much. Starting with the higher evaluation cost. Um, so that is, that this is kind of where you have some give and take, where because they don't have any activation fees, their evaluation costs are a little bit higher. Now, if you just look at the base cost of their evaluation accounts, it is very similar to other prop firms, but other prop firms a lot of times will offer pretty sizable discounts, where with Trade Day, they won't offer really, they don't have that many discount sales. Now, if you do use a code, use my code if you want. They do have the 20% discount. So right now it's 20% discount. They have done sales where they have had a 50% discount, but that is the best discount that I have seen. Again, I'm just going to show really quickly some of the costs. You can see 150K account is 350, which again is it's in line with the prop firm costs, but a lot of times you'll see other prop firms offer big discounts, where Trade Day, they don't really offer those big discounts like you see with other prop firms. Again, the 50K account, $165, the 100K account, $275, and the 25K account at $125. Obviously, you get 20% off of that if you use the code Nutty Bar, and I do thank you and appreciate it if you do. Then let's go to the other thing. You can only have one account. I know a lot of other prop firms, they allow you, 3 accounts to 20 accounts, like with Apex, which is why, Apex offers a lot of different things. But Apex, you can have 20 accounts, and I still use Apex. I still think Apex is great because of that. But like I said earlier, the pros and cons of each one, it's kind of in a different niche, and it has its good things and bad things. But that is one thing with Trade Day, you can only have one account. Then the next thing is the 10-day minimum to pass evaluations. So this is probably one of the biggest cons, or the biggest negatives for Trade Day, is so you have to trade for 10 days. And with that, there's a 30% consistency rule when you trade evaluations. So when you're in your evaluation stage, there is a 30% consistency rule. Basically, what that means is your 1-day profit, your biggest 1-day profit cannot be 30%, more than 30% of your total profits. And the other thing, you cannot flip contracts once you pass the evaluations. For example, I'm just going to use Apex as an example. If I have a 50K Apex account and I pass that evaluation the first day, I just have to flip micro contracts the following 6 days, and I'm passed. With Trade Day, they do not allow you to flip contracts. What that means, they want you trading the same way for the full 10 days. So if you pass in 5 days, which it would be possible, they still are going to want to see you trade the same way the consecutive 5 days. So they want to see you trade 10 days consistently, not flipping contracts the last half. So that is very important to understand and know. And it does kind of force you to trade your evaluations a little bit differently. And I actually think it could and can be a good thing. You have it basically prevents you from YOLOing evaluation accounts. And I completely understand from their perspective. of why they do this, because once you pass an evaluation account, you have the option to go into an actual live account. And obviously, if they would allow flipping contracts and not have that consistency rule on evaluations, you know, they could be kind of getting any kind of trader into at a live account that they might not want. So I understand why they have it this way. Totally understand it. It makes sense. And, I kind of think it's actually kind of a good thing as well. It forces you to probably trade a little bit more consistently and be more consistent instead of, maybe YOLOing your evaluations and then just flipping contracts, which, if we're honest, isn't exactly something that we do when we get to a funded account. The next thing is no trading tier one news events. This is not, again, I don't really look at this as a negative, but it's just, I want to point it out. You cannot trade the news. And it's basically tier one news events. On their website, they clearly spell out which news events you cannot trade, and you can't trade 2 minutes before the event and 2 minutes after the event. Pretty sensible. Also, on the funded accounts, there's no consistency rule, but there is a scaling plan. Excuse me, I just have this itchy throat. So the scaling plan, basically what that means, you start out, I believe you can trade 5 minis. I shouldn't say for sure, but check out their website. You can see which, depending on what account size you have, they have different scaling plans. But basically what the scaling plan is, when you start out with your live funded account or your funded sim account, you can only trade a max amount of contracts, a set amount. And then as you grow your profits in the account, they will allow you to trade with more size. Hopefully that makes sense. Then the other one, and this isn't really a negative either, but just something I want to make you aware. If you choose, so once you pass your evaluation account, you have an opportunity you have a choice. You have a choice to either move to a funded sim account, or to move to an actual live account. Me personally, I would always move to the funded sim account because it just makes more sense. You still get paid out the exact same way and you save money. If you go to an actual live account, you're going to have to pay $122 per month for your data fees. And that's standard for anytime you go to an actual live account. And basically you don't have that monthly fee if you just go to a funded sim account. Hopefully that makes sense. Then the final is the 2020 risk management for live accounts. So if you do choose to go to an actual live account, they have a 2020 risk management, which basically, I'm going to try and explain it very quickly, is once you have a more than 80% drawdown, they will limit your contracts to only one mini contract, and they basically kind of put restrictions on you if you go in too much drawdown. But check out their website, read up on that more. They do a better job of explaining it, but I wanted to point that out as well. Okay, we're already at 19 minutes long. Of course, it took longer than I thought. Hopefully this makes sense to you. Hopefully I answered some of your questions. And if you still have questions, leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer them. And thanks for watching. Appreciate every one of you. Take care and God bless.